I'm open to whoever wins at this point. At this point, I'm really open to it. At the same time, I feel like I got pretty solid reasons as to why. What's going on, Reject Nation? I'm Greg.
I am John.
So now that the Godzilla vs. Kong trailer has come out, I thought it was only appropriate that we take the time to talk about who we think will win. Adam Winger, the director of this movie, did state that there will be a definitive, clear winner in this film. We want to throw our hat in the ring to talk about who we think has a good shot at actually winning this. But before we go into that, a couple of things. First things first, the poll. I put out a poll on Twitter and I put out a poll on our community page on YouTube asking you guys who we think will win between Godzilla versus Kong. The answer is not surprising. Nope. I realized this from comments from before the official trailer came out, the other stuff we were covering before. The Twitter poll, which has 581 votes, so not a whole lot. Follow me on Twitter so we can get more votes. 54% Kong, 46% Godzilla. John, tell us what it says on the community page.
Oh, goodness. Out of 43,000 votes, thank you all for joining in. Godzilla loses 45% to Kong's 55%. Those are almost identical polls.
Yeah, man. The majority are very much in favor of Kong winning this. There's probably a variety of reasons why people would vote for Kong. I mean, some people might vote for Kong going, originally I was going for Godzilla, but then I saw the trailer and it looks like they're going to let Kong win. Some people just are like, no, I'm Team Kong all the way. There's reasons why people would vote for Kong over Godzilla. Totally respect that. A-okay. Fascinating to see. Out of 43,000 votes, it's pretty apparent. All right, guys, but let's start talking about who we think will win and why we think this person will win. But in order to talk about that first, we will get to our definitive answer in a second. We have to talk about the original King Kong versus Godzilla movie from many, many decades ago, because that greatly influences, I believe, the outcome of what we will get in Godzilla versus Kong. Journey back to a time, I think in the 60s, it was
1962.
Yes.
That's right. Toho gets the rights to King Kong from RKO for 2 whole appearances in which he is not like any of the other appearances.
Exactly. At the time, though, we have to remember, Godzilla was yet to become what is known as like an anti-hero of sorts. When he started getting like a whole bunch of films and the Rogues Gallery of Godzilla got introduced, at the time of the first King Kong versus Godzilla movie, Godzilla was viewed as a villainous perspective, and Kong was beloved in Japan, actually, and he was viewed more as, I don't want to say exactly anti-hero, but a little more like misunderstood, sympathetic.
You can endear yourself to him. You feel bad for him, and you want his love with the tiny human lady to work out.
Exactly. He looked after a human lady. He had a soul. He had a heart. It was a very different portrayal than Godzilla. So in the eyes of pairing these two up, Godzilla was taking on the villainous perspective. Now, the thing with that movie, the winner was King Kong. However, it was met with a lot of backlash. It didn't even matter if you were King Kong from the beginning of that film. It's not just Godzilla stans who were like, what the hell? Godzilla wouldn't have lost. It's because of how Kong won that was the real big upsetting factor to it. Now, a lot of people were like, it was an ambiguous ending. We don't know for sure who won. Theories going around. But the owners of the movie, the creators, Toho, they released a statement saying Kong was the definitive winner of that movie. They made it apparently clear. Now, how did he win? John, roll that footage while I'm talking about it.
Oh, boy.
So Kong was losing. Thunderstorm randomly occurs. Kong randomly gets electrical powers, defeats Godzilla, like underwater, off screen, right?
Yes. Yeah. He comes back out, and we're left to assume that he won.
It felt abrupt. It felt sudden. This ability of electrical charges was never foreshadowed. Fans were not happy with the way of how it occurred. Yes, people who were like all about Godzilla did not like it, but people were not happy with the manner and how Kong actually ended up winning. After that, eventually Godzilla starts becoming an anti-hero. So if you look at where Godzilla is at now in Japan, he's immensely more popular than Kong. At the time, he was a little bit more favored. But with the way Godzilla's image has changed over time and with the franchise, you guys know the legacy of Godzilla. Godzilla's a lot more beloved now. So now we get to this movie. Godzilla versus Kong. The trailer comes out, and I'm a little bit surprised. During the reaction, I did look at you. I'm like, oh, they're making Godzilla out to be the villain. This is kind of surprising.
Definitively so, it seems, yeah.
Now, just to make it clear, we know there's the theories going around about Mecha Godzilla actually wearing a Godzilla skin suit. Kong is actually fighting Mecha Godzilla. He just thinks he's fighting the real Godzilla. We absolutely believe Mecha Godzilla will be in this movie. It seems likely that Godzilla and Kong will team up at one point to take down Mecha Godzilla. However, I think the filmmakers know that it would be a complete cop-out if there was not at least one real fight between the real Godzilla and the real Kong. So when it goes to answering this question, we're talking about that fight. We're not going off of the theory that Kong is actually fighting Mecha Godzilla. We're going off of the hope that the real Godzilla and that the real Kong will be fighting each other at some point in this movie. This is where our answer is coming down to. It's interesting looking at the trailer because they're picking up Godzilla as a villain in here, which is kind of the antithesis to what the last two Godzilla movies were, where he was more portrayed as an anti-hero. So it really seems like they're setting people up that Kong is the underdog, Kong is going to win in this one. However, I don't think that's the case, and I'm not stating Godzilla will win because of physicality. Let's just completely move all that out of the way. I feel like purely off of a business decision, off of just Toho being involved in here, because they don't have any more plans, definitive ones, for future Godzilla films after Godzilla versus Kong. Maybe they've had some talks behind the scenes, but nothing that's been officially reported. I don't think Toho, working with Legendary Pictures, would let Godzilla lose in this movie, especially after the backlash that King Kong versus Godzilla received for letting Kong win. If I'm not mistaken, there was a rumor going around, I don't know if this is a definitive, but RKO Pictures owned King Kong at the time when King Kong versus Godzilla came out, and RKO Pictures wasn't cool with letting King Kong lose in that movie. So I kind of feel like there's a flipperoo here now that this is an American-made film, you know, with Toho financing this picture. I just don't think Toho is gonna let their main guy. I don't think they're going to let him lose in this movie. And also from a business standpoint, when it comes to pulling characters from the Rogues Gallery, I mean, remember how excited people were to hear like, oh man, they're bringing Mothra in for King of the Monsters. They're bringing King Ghidorah in for King of the Monsters.
And Rodan.
Exactly. The fact that we're getting Mecha Godzilla and Godzilla versus Kong is pumping people up. The Rogues Gallery for a continuing franchise leans more in Godzilla's favor versus Kong's Rogue Gallery, which is a little more mysterious right now. Not that I'm saying that they can't pull that off, that they can't continue Kong and then bring out some new villains and some new characters and stuff. In a day and age where we lean so much off of existing IP and nostalgia, Godzilla is the one with the franchise. They have Toho financing this. I don't think Toho would be cool with letting Godzilla lose. And I think if Legendary wants to continue making Godzilla movies, they're gonna want to let Godzilla win. That's purely where I'm coming from. I think Godzilla will win just because of business, just because of financial decision making.
Their people hashed it out before the fight even begins. It's a lot like boxing.
I don't think anyone will die, but I think whoever loses, it's going to be Kong only because of that.
Yeah, and then from there you can set up some other thing with Kong where he goes off and, you know, is the king of the hollow earth or something like that, and Godzilla sort of remains at the surface, our protector and balancer of the world health and ecology cycle.
There's a lot of plot theories that have gone around as to why Kong would win. I mean, the trailer just sets you up that Kong's the underdog. He should win. Kong is not crowned King Kong yet, so if he were to beat Godzilla, then he would become officially King Kong. Like, those all sound good. Those all sound like very reasonable outcomes and story purposes why. But let's face it, movies like this, it's all about that money, baby. Like, well, that's what it all comes down to.
And the president of Toho has been apparently involved in person at meetings, you know, about this movie, you know, signing off on the treatment of the character, the spiritual handling of the character, the story, etc., and is reportedly quite happy with it. It seems to me that, especially on the heels of the outcome last time, now would probably be the time, especially being that this is the fourth installment of a franchise that King Kong has only been the star of one of. Seems kind of more appropriate in the overall scope of what they've built here. And I mean, Toho has also been pretty open about, we're kind of waiting to see what happens with Godzilla versus Kong because we really like what we're building on the American side, but we might want to do our own thing in Japan. Maybe we'll combine those two things. It seems like a lot of the future rests down Godzilla Avenue. In one way, shape, or form.
So that's just it, guys. It comes down to business, working with Toho. Like, they already upset the Godzilla fans by letting Godzilla lose in the first one. Would they really let them do that
Look
again.
out.
You know, I'm open to whoever wins at this point. At this point, I'm really open to it. At the same time, I feel like I got pretty solid reasons as to why Kong will lose.
I'm just open for a good fight, man.
That's what I
just
want.
want to have fun.
I just want it to be entertaining,
maybe
exciting.
be a little surprised.
Yeah, I think it's going to be entertaining, exciting. It'll be a good time. All right, guys. Well, who do you think will win? Leave your thoughts down below. Curious to see what you all have to say. What are your theories of how the movie will end? Subscribe, click that notification bell, hit that like button. Last but not least, J.N. Valente. John, I think you're great at these.
J.N., you know who you remind me of? You remind me of John Goodman's character in Kong Skull Island. I imagine there's all kinds of crazy conspiracies and theories that you have that are based on so much knowledge, life experience, and science, but you always come off a little bit kooky. Well, guess what? I believe you, and I think that wherever you are in the world right now, you're on the verge of some kind of crazy discovery that's going to blow the doors off the world, man. You're going to find the hollow earth, and then you're going to send us a rambling message from in there where we're like, cool, I hope he's doing all right. He's at least able to type this, so I assume he's okay, at least in his physical body. I hope you're having a nice 2021 wherever you happen to be, if you even receive this message, and stay sexy, be well. Wow.